The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shades thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yeah, good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Tuesday, February 27th, and today is Anosmia Awareness Day, you guys. It's also National Retro Day, National Polar Bear Day, National Strawberry Day, because everybody loves a little strawberry in their life. And
more of a cherry guy.
You're more of a cherry guy? Oh, boy. I'm not.
Depends if you're sharing it with your polar bears.
Oh.
I've got gout. Cherries are good for gout. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God. You know what else it is today, you guys? It's also National Kahlua Day.
Ooh,
yeah.
Kahlua?
Shout out to all those people that mix Kahlua and milk and have those little white Russians. Yes, so thank you for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look down below on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. But kicking it off first, we have Rico Lamitte, the dope dad himself, who, when he's doing his sales calls, is constantly doing the Cabbage Patch backpedaling because of his sales data. That's right. It is none other than the dope dad himself, Rico Lamitte. Oh, we got it. Oh, there we go. There we go, Demetrius. Applause.
Pretty messed up. It's pretty messed up that he said you drink white Russians instead of black Russians.
I know, man. I know.
You don't even know.
They don't.
No, I'm beginning.
I don't know of any black
like
Russians.
Jason is not a fan.
I don't know of any black
History
Russians.
Month this year because
it's because it's 29 days instead of 28.
I don't know. I might be getting ahead of myself, man. I might be leaping ahead of myself.
Yeah, because it's leap year. Cute.
I don't know.
Rico.
Trust your
Cute.
gut.
Cute, Rico. Very cute.
Always do. Always do. So, my story today is about the ongoing saga of cannabis rescheduling. So 2 weeks ago, the DEA and Attorney General Merrick Garland missed their February 12th deadline to respond to 12 U.S. senators who asked 6 questions about their joint review on cannabis scheduling and the Controlled Substances Act. In addition to congressional efforts, many other federal, state, and local leaders, various interest groups from law enforcement to veterans, have also penned letters to the DEA, Garland, and the president regarding the rescheduling process and what is involved, where cannabis stands. None of the interested parties have received any type of satisfactory response. Last week, on February 23rd, Cannabis Business Times reached out, put their name in the hat, with their own set of questions about DEA's timeline for review of the HHS recommendation back in August 2023 to relist cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 under the CSA. CBT's Tony Lang reported this morning on the Fed's non-response. For the article, CBT inquired about the following topics. Is the DEA specifically reviewing a Schedule 3 listing for cannabis, or is it reviewing the possibility of Schedule 2, 4, or 5 listings and or decontrolling cannabis altogether? Do U.S. treaty obligations under Single Convention or Narcotic Drugs of 1961 prevent the DEA from rescheduling cannabis lower than Schedule 2 substance? Is the DEA conducting its own analysis on cannabis accepted medical use and potential for abuse, or is it relying on the FDA and HHS's 8-factor analysis that was already conducted? Why? Roughly how many DEA officials are involved in rescheduling review process? All seem like pretty fair questions and pretty easy to answer, but Peter Carr, senior communications advisor for the DOJ, thought otherwise. Here was his response. The Justice Department has received the recommendation from HHS and it's under review. Lang, that's all. Lang noted that DEA acting chief Michael Miller from the Office of Congressional Affairs already confirmed this in a December 19th letter by Representative Earl Blumenauer of Colorado. Instead of answering specifics, Carr
Earl
directed
Blumenauer's from
CBT.
Oregon.
Oh,
Sorry.
Sorry, Oregon. I apologize. Thank you.
So
for
are
that
Black Russians.
correction. Right.
God. Oh, jeez.
Thank you for standing by and being a great ally to Black people.
I bet.
Yarrow Kubrin.
Black Russians, huh?
But back to the story. Instead of answering specifics, Carr directed CBT to a 2020 DEA resource guide on drugs of abuse. This resource guide is a 112-page document that predates Joe Biden's presidency. When he was asked if the DOJ is declining to answer questions from the media regarding cannabis rescheduling, Carr predictably told CBT, "We don't have anything further to provide." The 112-page DEA resource guide that Carr sent CBT provides an overview of the process to add, delete, or change the scheduling of a drug or other substance. Since the DEA receives a medical and scientific evaluation regarding a drug or substance from the HHS, the scientific evaluations are binding on the DEA with respect to scientific and medical matters and form a part of the scheduling process and decision. It's a key element of DEA's review process, considering that HHS and FDA officials conducted an 8-factor scientific analysis prior to the August 2023 recommendation, finding cannabis does, in fact, have medical value and a lower risk of potential abuse. Lang continued by saying this. The DEA's 2020 resource guide also outlines each of the 8 factors used in determining what schedule a drug or substance should be placed or whether a substance should be decontrolled or rescheduled. And although drugs that do not have a potential for abuse cannot be controlled under the DEA's guidelines, the CSA curiously omits a definition for the term potential for abuse. However, for the DEA's resource guide's own guidance, the following items are indicators that a drug or substance has a potential for abuse. 1, there's evidence that individuals are taking the drug or other substance in amounts sufficient to create a hazard to their health or to the safety of other individuals or to the community. 2, there is significant diversion of the drug or other substance from legitimate drug channels. 3, individuals are taking the drug or other substances on their own initiative rather than the basis of medical advice from a practitioner. 4, the drug is a new drug, so related in its action to a drug or other substance already listed as having the potential for abuse to make it likely that the drug will have the same potential for abuse as other such drugs, thus making it reasonable to assume that there may be significant diversions from legitimate channels, significant use contrary to or without medical advice, or that it has a substantial capability of creating hazards to the health of the user or to the safety of the community. That's it. None of those really sound like they're describing cannabis. The DEA resource guide says marijuana is usually smoked as a cigarette, called a joint. It's actually in there, it says in parentheses, called a joint, or a pipe, or a bong. It is also smoked in blunts, which are cigars that have been emptied of tobacco and refilled with marijuana, sometimes in combination with another drug. Marijuana is also mixed with foods or brewed as tea. It also acknowledges that there are a number of substances that are abused but not regulated under the CSA, specifically alcohol and tobacco, which are exempt from the control by the CSA. Here's what it says about those. In addition, A whole group of substances called inhalants are commonly available and widely abused by children. Is what the DEA resource guide actually says. It says that specifically. Control of these substances under the CSA would not only impede legitimate commerce, but also would likely have little effect on the abuse of these substances by youngsters. An energetic campaign aimed at educating both adults and youth about inhalants is more likely to prevent their abuse.
You need to read that quote again. Read that quote again.
Right? Control of these substances under the CSA would not only impede legitimate commerce, but also would likely have little effect on the abuse of these substances by youngsters. An energetic campaign aimed at educating both adults and youth about inhalants is more likely to prevent their abuse. So it seems pretty cut and dry that cannabis should be in that same category with alcohol and tobacco, according to their own words, but America keeps getting the fucking runaround. Given the current political state of affairs in America, I don't expect any progress on the issues presented by the various parties or anything more than a canned non-response, again, from the DEA anytime soon. But the fact so many Americans are charged up about this issue and the progress could be a positive thing that unifies such a divided country. What the hell are they waiting for? I'd like to hear from you guys. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News. I'm a concerned parent, and I want some energetic campaigns to protect my kids from this non-issue. How about that?
Every other commercial on TV is a beer commercial, right? But that's okay.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Beer is fun and lifestyle and, you know, skiing and waterboarding and
Tap the Rockies.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. That is the most egregious article I think I've ever heard you read. It contradicted itself over and over again. You
can tell Todd doesn't watch the show every single day because it's not the most egregious thing that Rico has ever said.
I don't know.
But nonetheless,
it just makes me
it's
crazy.
up there.
Those, you know, this article just makes me crazy. Here they are. Oh, did they do any of this research on opiates, and did that cause a little problem? You know, in the United States, it's just so weird how they put this, you know, pot in this glass by itself.
You know what I feel like? You know what I feel like, Todd? I feel like there was enough money pushing these other drugs to where they bypassed these types of studies.
It's, you know, it's got to be.
It has to be. That's the only thing that makes sense, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah,
that's right. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, the fact that the DEA even pushed this explanation to the questions.
Right.
Why? Why didn't they just leave it at we're deliberating? Just leave it at that.
We're deliberating. You guys are all screwed, and that's pretty much it.
It's all about the kids, unless it's alcohol and tobacco.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's my favorite. It's the kids. Let them smoke a cigarette. Everyone, you know, can have a Marlboro once in a while.
Yep. Exactly.
The packs of cigarettes have a Surgeon General warning on it. They'll be all right.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
they'll read that before they light up.
I mean, I wish the U.S. would implement the same warning labels that Europe has on the cigarettes, where like they actually show you like pictures of people's lungs on the cigarette packs and all that. We need we need that kind of advertisement on these packs of cigarettes.
Right.
We don't want to
impede any commerce.
I don't know. After I've seen an aborted fetus, the next thing I want is a good cigarette. I mean,
that's a really good.
Oh man!
I mean,
they don't show aborted fetuses on the cigarette.
The question
packs.
I would have is, I mean, don't Europeans still smoke quite a bit of tobacco? I don't know that any of those scare tactics have really worked. It's a very addictive drug. Look, the DEA has a place in America. They need to be at the tip of the spear with things like fentanyl. And it's unfortunate that that their mission isn't a bit more narrowly focused. There's a place for them. There are probably very noble people there. And the sooner we can get them focused on what I would consider to be the greatest health threat to this next generation, the more effective they'll be, the less teenage fatalities. Fentanyl is the risk. And so maybe they can stop dancing around this one. We can get this out of their purview, out of their mandate, and move on to saving this country from fentanyl.
I agree with you. Yeah, that's. I mean,
I think this.
but the problem,
these non-responses just they just add to the lack. They just add to the country's lack of confidence in government. Period.
Guys,
and because fentanyl is such a problem, cannabis just gets looped into it. Why do we need another drug? I love that argument, right?
Well, and to your point about
that's legal.
And to your point about the lack of trust in government, I mean, we have to remember the history here, which is that while these agencies were fighting cocaine, they were simultaneously facilitating the distribution of cocaine.
Right,
and while these agencies were fighting heroin, they were simultaneously facilitating the distribution of heroin. And so if I was going to put on a tinfoil hat this morning, and I don't have one that fits my size, but if I was going to say, I would say they might be involved in fentanyl trafficking.
Hey, Yarrow, how close are you in your house to the kitchen right now? Because
20 feet.
Aluminum foil is malleable.
oh boy.
yo,
Oh,
yo,
boy.
let's
Go ahead, Saman. Go ahead, Saman, please.
I gotta point out, because we didn't say this, we gotta point out the fact that these youngsters can literally pick up a fucking D8 vape cartridge at a gas station, probably where they're from, and let's not negate that. That's why they have to say this, to be honest.
You think that's why? I don't think that's why they have to say this at all.
Synthetic shit?
Absolutely.
I don't buy that. I'm not buying that one.
I believe that's why they have to say that.
No way.
Where are the metrics? Where are the metrics coming from?
Where are the metrics coming from? What do you mean?
Otherwise, how many children are consuming?
They're coming from the CDC. They're coming from the CDC from all these non-parenting parents.
Exactly, and non-cannabis states, right? Non-cannabis, like that don't have a cannabis industry, that don't have a.
I think it happens in both. I think it happens in both because a lot of the DA.
Overwhelming majority of young people smoking cannabis are probably smoking alternative cannabinoids.
I agree with that. I could agree with that statement.
Okay. So that's why we have to have this stupid fucking conversation about children smoking pot. And it's like, it's not even pot. It's not even weed. It's fucking D8. It's some fucking bullshit synthetic conversion that's made to make you feel kind of like how weed makes you feel. That's why all this stupid shit exists. That's why spice existed for so long in this country.
Spice, bro. The craziest shit that was.
Business. We can't impede commerce.
Basically.
The gas stations.
Hold on. So are they saying they can't impede commerce for all the trappers? Because I feel like it's all about the trappers with impeding on commerce.
Okay,
they're saying they can't impede commerce with cigarettes and alcohol.
Right? I mean the problem isn't that we're lumping in cigarettes and alcohol with weed. It's that weed has hit this kind of ultimate triple point, right? Where it's like this total amoeba in the normal consumer world, where people can go in and buy anything. When we were in high school, 16 years old, our buddy that looked like he was 18 was going and buying chewing tobacco and cigarettes and shit like that. Okay, what do you think kids are doing these days with the availability of alternative cannabinoids? It's the same thing. It's just like it's just cannabis vapes instead of chewing tobacco, and it's like it's just a sign of the times. This is the way things are moving. They need to come up with a strategy quickly. I think there is some pretty good strategies out there that people have been talking about for years. Jason, I know we've had plenty of conversations about it, but I really think that the whole entire pejorative nature of cannabis is going to be continued because of things like this. So what has to change?
I don't know, but
DEA does not like. They don't like winning.
The DEA loves to win. The DEA loves to win because they win from asset forfeiture.
Here's what I'm getting at, Jason. They don't like winning. All right, so like all these reports, when cannabis was legalized, and how the cartels, the Mexican cartels specifically, were crippled, and their marijuana and their marijuana movement was crippled because of legalization. You push that further, and you know what? You probably have a better chance of crippling the trap. Right, or crippling more cartels or more illegal substances of entering the economy.
It's messed up.
But they don't want to do that.
It's messed up. It's messed up. You're wishing all these trappers be disabled. But on that, we're going to go to a commercial and we're going to be right back.
I'm all for disabled trappers.
Oh. Get ready for the 20-year anniversary celebration of the Emerald Cup. The Emerald Cup will be held at the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts in downtown Oakland, May 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now for best pricing. Cannabis categories include flower, pre-rolls, solventless concentrates, solvent concentrates, cartridges, edibles, topicals, tinctures, and alternative cannabinoids. So enter early for your chance to be a winner at the 20-year anniversary Emerald Cup competition. Oh, yeah.
He's the High at 9 News head honcho, known for smoking the best weed in the world, and he is America's favorite disabled drug war veteran.
That part.
Coming to the stage, y'all know who it is, Jason Beck.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Rico. Happy Tuesday, you guys. Talk about it Tuesday. And, man, I got something to talk about. And Rico, I think this is a story that you covered last week. This is a follow-up story. Oh, man, I can't wait for you to hear this. You're going to love this.
I love me a good follow-up.
Oh, man. Yeah. You know, if you don't have follow-through, you know what I'm saying, you can never get anything done. So thank goodness.
Has anyone ever followed down?
No.
Like a reach around?
No, yeah, this guy. Well, let me tell you.
We had that guy from Australia yesterday. So
he's
when
from
you're
down
on the
under.
other side of the equator, you're following down instead of following up. It has to do with what part of the earth you're on.
Well, speaking of that, he actually is watching right now, and so we do want to wish Irish a healthy hello, because it is right now. It is Tuesday, and it is 4:23 a.m. in Australia. So shout out to everyone in Australia. 4:20. Right now.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Tuesday. All right, guys, get ready. Pot shops are owed millions in taxes. So California sold their bongs and pipes and made, guess how much, Rico? That's right, $2,075, you guys. Oh, man, state of California is balling off of this. The state of California, right? That's not even close to my rent. The state of California says 10 Los Angeles marijuana dispensaries owe $14.4 million in taxes. A public auction was held to make up these fees with property seized from the businesses. But after that gavel was hit, the state only made $2,075, according to officials. 9 of the dispensaries were operating illegally, and 1 was a legal business but owed back taxes. The California Department of Tax and Fee Administration said in a news release announcing the public auction for the seized goods. This marked the first time the agency auctioned off personal property seized during law enforcement raids to try to recover the fees owed to the state, according to the agency. The agency partnered with the California Highway Patrol, better known as the CHP, to sell property, which included glass pipes, bongs, TVs, furniture, and miscellaneous office supplies. Some paper clips and rubber bands, it sounds like. At the February 16th auction in Los Angeles, items were sold in 10 lots, and all were purchased with many listed as far as the condition. Seizing and auctioning property from cannabis businesses that evade the law is a tool to recover the taxes owed to the state, said Nick Maduro's director of the tax fee agency in a statement. The agency said in a statement that its intention is to discourage unlicensed cannabis activities and to help level the playing field for legitimate businesses paying their taxes. In 2022, according to the agency, nearly $90 million in products and cash were seized from businesses during 2,200 inspections, and legal cannabis businesses operating in California are required to collect a 15% excise tax from their customers at the time of sale. California generated more than $621 million in excise tax in 2023 and over $461 million in sales tax, according to available data. Well, it doesn't sound like the state is hurting for money at all in this, and the fact that they got $2,075 to me is just hysterical for pipes and bongs and rubber bands and paper clips
that they confiscated.
Yes, and this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. What do y'all think about this ridiculousness?
I could have gotten more from selling the residue from those bongs.
Exactly.
Right.
Why didn't they sell the weed that they confiscated?
I'm kind of mad that I missed I totally forgot about the auction because I was.
Yeah, you were gonna get your glass on. You were gonna get a good collection at a deep discount. But there's blood on your hands if you buy those bongs.
I was gonna get some like racks. I was gonna get some like racks and stuff. Some of the they said that some display cases were actually gonna be going. For
but
sale
those bongs are to bongs like what diamonds from Sierra Leone are to diamonds. Those are conflict bongs. You don't want the conflict bongs.
Yeah.
You want the ones that didn't include any conflict.
Well,
Leonardo DiCaprio is going to star in a movie about it next. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Eddie Funksta, who's joining us in the chat, because he says that's promising for the glass industry. $2,075. Yeah, American glass
display cases and shit like that. I kind of wanted some new.
Yeah, they got that much for Chinese glass, man. Shit's
right. Like, I was hoping to get some on the cheap, on the low. Did they say, Jason? Did the article say which items went for like what price and everything?
No, it didn't. It didn't give any type of summary than that, but it did say that they sold out of everything and all that they netted was $2,075.
It's just embarrassing.
I mean, well, hold on a second. Todd, how much do you expect to pay for like an old school plastic graphics bong, honestly?
Oh, no, I hear you. $1, right?
Exactly. And it's like at a garage sale, like white elephant sale type thing.
Yeah, no. I think it's embarrassing that they attempted to do this, to recoup lost tax money.
Hold on. Here's the more important question. How many state hours of overhead did it cost the state to actually generate this money? I want to know how much they paid in labor to generate this money, and that would include the hours of everyone that seized all this stuff, including the hours of people that were selling the stuff too. And I'm willing to bet that this is a big negative in the state's budget line.
It's a bong doogle.
A bong doogle. Oh,
terrible, man.
Here's the real though. The guy who got it all confiscated went back and bought it for much cheaper than what he bought.
He bought it pennies on the dollar.
When?
Hey.
And it's back on the show. That's right.
Oh man.
That's what I call a re-up right there.
Yeah.
But how many items was it total?
Did they think they were going to make millions of dollars? I mean, what was the thought process?
What were the items? Can we talk about what the items were?
It was just pipes and bongs, bro. Pipes and bongs, stuff that they
used roach clip.
That's what I was imagining. Is these were all used devices?
There was no computers. There was no filing cabinets. There was no desks.
It doesn't. There's no mention. There's no mention of that.
Like no furniture.
It says office supplies, so I'm guessing that's rubber bands and paper clips.
Come on, Jason. There's more to running an office.
No, there's not. No, there's not. There's no staples. There's staples. There's paper clips. There's rubber bands, and maybe like a little notepad. But other than that, it doesn't take a lot to run one of these businesses.
And one of the stores in question was a legal shop.
Maybe a filing cabinet or two.
That one legal operation, like you couldn't muster up more than $2,000. Like, come on, man. This is
at first I thought it was a scam. I thought they were just trying to get everyone, all the illegal dispensary owners to come to the auction, and then they're gonna serve them all papers or something like that.
They said
like it was like one of those old school setups that law enforcement used to do when they call you back in the 80s and be like, hey, you won this new TV, but really they're gonna come and arrest you for not paying in child support.
How many millions of dollars did they say was in lost tax revenue from?
I believe it was 14 million, but let me go back and look $14.4 million
you got 2,000
in unpaid taxes. I want to know how they came up with that figure from these trap shops.
This article is so rich. It's
so good, right?
Why it's the reason why people rant, rave, and go off on government, because government has always found ways to do things so inefficiently, so expensively, and so bass-ackwards that this is just like one of those ones that gets filed away for future use, because we could come back to it and mine this vein of stupidity over and over and over again.
Yeah, I agree with you, Yarrow. I totally agree with you on this. Like this article is like the gift that keeps on giving, because it shows all the inefficiencies of government in just from head to toe with no dress rehearsal.
How much money was spent on the staff? to facilitate this.
That's what I was saying earlier. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. I want to know how many man hours.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to know how many of these man hours were actually overtime hours for some of these employees, because the state doesn't care about giving people overtime, especially cops.
And they got to program the auction on their website.
Exactly. Hold on. Then they got to have someone load all the stock images and take the images and load them on the website for the online auction and everything. Exactly.
How much was the press release for this?
I wish the state would have reached out to Cloud Media Partners for all these images and loading up their thing. That would have been great. I would love to have that contract.
No, you don't want conflict bong business. It's not.
I would take it. I would take it. No, I'm all about those government contracts, bro. I'm all about that, Yarrow.
I'm all about lab created bongs. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I mean, I'm sure we could probably go the whole show talking about this story, but we got to keep this train moving. We're going to roll right into Mr. Yarrow Kubrin, who is the Sebastopol sage who loves to run around and do real estate deals on top of smoking cannabis, and then every once in a while he gets to smoke some cannabis with some real estate guys when they're in the back room closing cannabis real estate deals. That's right, it's none other than Mr. Yarrow Kubrin.
That's the Sebastopol reach around.
I mean, I love the intro hazing. It never really fully feels like it encapsulates all that I do.
Yes.
But I'm so thirsty for attention. I'll take your negative attention just to be a part of the team.
I love thirst trap. A good thirst trap.
So the article that we just covered, first of all, good morning, High at 9 News viewers. Thank you to my esteemed panelists and fellow guests and cohorts. But what I love about the article that I'm about to cover is how it really is a great segue from the article that we just covered. So mine is another amazing example of the logic, the brilliance, and the efficiency of government. And it's a short and sweet one, but I think you guys will all agree this is good stuff. So without further ado, drum roll, millions in fines. This is, by the way, this is from MJ Biz Daily, published just yesterday by staff, no byline. Millions in fines unpaid by New York's unlicensed cannabis retailers. The vast majority of fines levied against unlicensed cannabis retailers in New York have not been paid, underscoring the ongoing enforcement challenges in the struggling market. Despite issuing fines in excess of $25 million, the Office of Cannabis Management, OCM, and Department of Taxation and Finance have collected only $22,500 from unlicensed stores, the City News outlet reported. That development comes on the heels of an October MJ Biz Daily report that most crackdown efforts by New York regulators and law enforcement agencies related to illegal marijuana sales have not been resolved. At the time, according to the city, New York regulators halted administrative hearings where judges could levy fines and other penalties against those selling illicit marijuana products. Under laws adopted last year, New York regulators can impose a $10,000 a day penalty for illegal marijuana sales and a $20,000 per day penalty against those selling cannabis after receiving an OCM order to cease operations. Meanwhile, taxpayers who created the state's 2021 legalization law, the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, are considering potential changes to the statute in an effort to jumpstart retail sales. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who has pushed for more enforcement to get that $25,000 up, recently $22,500. Sorry, recently called the state's rollout of adult use market a quote disaster, unquote, but said wholesale changes to MRTA are not likely to happen. New York launched legal adult use sales on December 29th, 2022. So I've got a lot to say about this, but I'd rather hear from my other guests and cohorts first. Guys, what do you think? Should we send them
bong sales?
I was just gonna say, should we send them the SOPs on how to sell secondhand bongs so they can up their rev?
I mean, they must need
just
it.
like leave some trappers an invoice, like yo, you leave them a ticket, like a parking ticket or some shit. You just like bounce and expect them to pay it.
I mean,
so stupid, man.
New York is definitely the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to cannabis. Cannabis
New York
shenanigans.
is the new California. Just hope they keep on doing dumber stuff than we do, because
they should hire some people from the unregulated market, because they are collecting 0.0009% of what is due. And I love.
Well, isn't that how government works?
Well, no, it's not. It's how government doesn't work, right? So you have to take the word "works" and strike it from the sentence, because it's an example of how it doesn't work. But what I especially love about how ineffective they are in executing their own policies is this notion that they're going to go back to the drawing board to think about how they could come up with better policies. Because the truth is, if you can't execute a policy, it doesn't matter what the policy is, and changing the policy without changing the execution isn't going to change the outcome. So this is hilarious. And when Kathy Hochul says that it's been a disaster, wasn't this disaster on her watch? And
yes. Hold on, but she wants to always blame it on Governor Cuomo for the start of it, because technically he did start all of this, and then she had to come in.
It's all her people.
Yeah, but to me, it's all the same. It's all the same thing.
I mean, it's kind of like shooting the horse you're riding, right? And so saying it's a disaster. First of all, thank you for saying what we've been saying for some number of years now. You know what? Finally caught up with us.
You know what I think is a disaster? Is that she wants to go around and pander. And the one time that she went into a cannabis dispensary in New York, she didn't even buy a T-shirt or an ashtray or anything. So Jason, does she really support the industry?
Jason, you and I, Jason, were the only ones who called that shit out. Like from the jump. We're like, yo, this is going to be a disaster.
But here's what New York's regulated cannabis industry would have been able to say had she bought a T-shirt. I've got a completely messed up system, and at least my governor bought a T-shirt.
That would have been great.
You need to make a T-shirt about her buying a T-shirt, because that's all they're getting out of this program.
I mean, the reality is, if she would have done that,
up a T-shirt. I love it.
Oh, you make a good point. You make a good point. You got to know that there's buy-in from the legislature in the systems, right? And like when they come in there and they just kind of like in a blasé way just say like, oh hey, it's cool because I want your money, but I'm not going to support you. That's a big slap in the face to all the operators out there, and it's why that there's such a mess with all of the unpaid fines, because no one gives a fuck. Do you think they respect the laws that they're creating in New York right now? Nobody does. Yeah. So what are they going to do? They're going to pay that money? I don't think so. I think it's just going to be another deficit that's going to get chalked up, probably get paid off, to be honest, by the federal government, since they're paying New York businesses so much money for so many different unfortunate reasons, other than creating industry and helping move along industry that creates jobs, that brings a lot of tax revenue to the state. They got it all backwards. Everyone's looking for a handout. New York's not different. The state government of New York is just looking for a handout.
Saman, it's interesting you say that, because I remember we covered the story of Empire, the chain of trap stores that got shut down there. And they made such a big funk about televising and putting all over the internet, them raiding this spot. And literally, as the agents were leaving, there was a line out the door that just went right back in. And we're buying more shit.
I mean, people were waiting outside of the place when they were getting raided.
I bet some of those agents got back in that line too. They were like, "This is a stressful day. I need a pre-roll.
Right. I need a break."
I wonder how many of those people in line had Cookie's clothing on.
I'm gonna sidestep that one for a second, but here's what I think is pretty sad. I am very concerned that by failing to execute on their policy, they will use this as a rationalization and justification to go to that Prohibition 2.0 and to say, well, civil fines didn't work, so we're going to militarize our enforcement approach to these unregulated stores.
Oh, it's
When we
coming.
have this massive history to show that
It's coming.
prohibition didn't work, militarization, banging down doors, taking parents
Yarrow,
away, kids to CPS.
It was built to happen just that way, because the same day that Mayor Adams said that, we're no longer, arresting, we're no longer giving people felonies and all that stuff, was the same day that he reinstated broken windows policies. They're waiting to flip that switch and stop and frisk.
I would say that that's one of the problems when you have policymakers whose history includes many, many years as law enforcement. We all see the world through our lens. I see the world through the lens of real estate. I can't look at a piece of land without thinking about topography, zoning, flora and fauna, water sources, because I've been trained to see the world through that lens.
You know what?
And when you have mayors that come from law enforcement, they are going to see public policy through the lens of their training, their history, and their experience. I don't think this is going to work very well for them. And the biggest problem I have with this is we saw this coming. This was not a surprise to those of us who had a little bit more experience specifically with cannabis policy and the rollout of cannabis policy. And so now, instead of getting up to speed and saying it was a disaster, thank you very much, you're about a year and a half too late to agree with me. Now, they're not, I don't see them asking for help. How do we get this how do we get this dung off of our shoe? What are our next steps forward? And why are they not bringing people in to get a revised playbook? When you fall on your face, you got to ask for help.
I feel the same way. Man. You know how you're like, you know how it seems like you're traumatized from the real estate market, to where like you can't look at a piece of real estate without having those types of thoughts. It's the same way for me when I'm in a parking lot and I see someone walk up to a car. Like, to me, it's always a drug transaction, no matter what's happening. So I
wouldn't say
totally
I'm traumatized.
That.
I would say I'm trained and experienced to see the world through a particular set of lenses.
That's from trauma.
Hey, Jason, when we were at Anna's, you saw that whip. That was like, oh, that's the Jump Out Boys.
Oh, it was the Jump Out Boys. It 100% was the Jump Out Boys. It definitely was.
When I see an SUV with dark tint and some rolling on some Steelies.
Oh, exactly.
Those are the Jump Out Boys.
Exactly. It's the Jump Out Boys. It's either it's one or two of the Jump Out Boys. It's either the Jump Out Boys as far as cops, or it's the Jump Out Boys as far as you're about to get licked.
So
one or the other.
When I see police, when I see law enforcement transition to being public policy and part of, different part of the executive branch, local executive branch, I have concerns, because those decades of lenses and training and experience often colors the way they think about public policy. And sometimes that could be positive. Sometimes that could be not so positive. But I think when it comes to cannabis policy, I mean, first of all, if you can only collect $22,500 on a $25 million debt, you're really, really bad at your job. I do not care what it takes to get a little bit more of that money. Go after those civil consequences, because militarizing prohibition didn't work. And we have decades and decades of data on that.
We're definitely going to need to get a soundbite of that Colors song. Colors.
Here, but that's
exactly.
Fool.
But on that,
cool.
But on that,
need your assistance.
we got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get yourself a Stretch and Smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
That's right, baby. I'm Smoky Vanilla. With my background in kinesiology, I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on athletes who have chronic pain or injury due to their sport, or the legends of the chronic in the game, baby.
Oh, yeah, you know what it is. We just stretched, and now we're gonna smoke, because you know what it is.
That's right. I love intuitively creating a session based on the individual I'm working with. We'll go through a few assessments, look at the past health history, injury, or anything that's still affecting you today, and create a customized session just for you. Let's go. Yee!
Oh, yeah. Stop whatever you're doing and make sure you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. And even YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can find on our website and read at www.highat9news.com.
Oh, man, that was weird. Hey, you, America. Do I look like Sean Connery?
Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
Oh, yeah. Up next, it's the golden-tongued co-founder of the Smuggleverse, president and founder of Digipath Labs, Las Vegas's very own dope Grand Faja, coming straight up off the strip. Y'all know who it is, Mr. Todd Denkin. Oh, yeah.
And the crowd goes wild. I got my own crowd today. Sound effect department there. Thank you, Rico. Thank you, my friends. You know, going full circle, we were talking about the children earlier. Well, another children story. Gotta save the kids. Instagram flips after Snoop Dogg posts videos smoking in front of his granddaughters. Snoop Dogg posted a video smoking a blunt in the studio. Commenters were quick to point out that his grandkids were present. Oh, Snoop Dogg is once again stirring up a grand debate due to his unapologetic and unwavering love of the herb, no matter who's around. There's absolutely nothing atypical of Snoop smoking a blunt in the studio. People are concerned that his grandkids were in the room. Snoop Dogg posted a video on Instagram. I think we have that video if we can play that. On Wednesday, February 21st, smoking a blunt in a recording studio, but it outraged some of the commenters because two of his granddaughters were in the room as he smoked. Hip Hop DX first reported the incident that led to the comments section going wild. It sparked up a huge debate. Good parents, and grandparents for that matter, allowed to smoke in the presence of a child. And how close is too close? Pop DX reported the West Coast rap legend posted a clip on Instagram on Wednesday of himself in a recording studio surrounded by his granddaughters as he smoked a blunt. The video was widely condemned in the comments section, with Snoop being criticized for smoking the drug around infant children. Parenting and cannabis is always a controversial topic. One commenter wrote, "Nobody, and I mean nobody, is smoking around my babies." Another one wrote, seriously? Is there a blunt in his hand in front of the grandbabies? Come on, man. Damn. Another commenter said, "Burning with the kids?" But other commenters said it's better than smoking tobacco in front of their kids or in a car. Somebody said, "Y'all talking about smoking weed around kids? Half you smoking Marlboro with soccer kids in the back of the minivan." Last November, Snoop Dogg announced he was quitting smoking in a post that went viral, but it turned out to be a hugely successful stunt. But after that, all of that, some ex-users pointed out some unusual details, and it turns out that the smoke Snoop was actually giving up was smoke stoves, and he's behind the Solo Stove, the world's most popular smokeless fire pit. Solo Stove shareholders, though, were not amused for not producing revenue, and it allegedly led to a CEO change. Snoop also pissed off Pierce Morgan and drew the wrath of English soccer fans over a pro-weed meme in 2019. He faced online backlash for a social media post that designed to highlight desperate dangers between cannabis and alcohol. Hot advocates have long touted that cannabis is safer than booze and other drugs, of course, but Snoop ran afoul, apparently, using a legendary but troubled former English soccer player to illustrate that comparison. The meme he posted showed 4 photos, 2 of Snoop and 2 of Paul Gascoigne, decorated soccer player who starred for the England national team in clubs like Newcastle United and Tottenham Hotspur in the 1980s and 1990s. 2 photos of Gascoigne placed under a caption that read "alcohol abuse." Show him at age 20 and age 47 with clear signs of physical deterioration evident. Under the caption "marijuana abuse," Pair photos of Snoop at the same two ages with no major differences in his appearance. Gascoigne's life has been equally turbulent off the field. He entered therapy in the late 1990s. While still a player to treat his alcoholism, the first of several stints in treatment, he has struggled to maintain his sobrieties ever since. Wiz Khalifa, a frequent collaborator with Snoop, isn't exactly hiding the fact he's smoking weed in a similar fashion. On the podcast Call Her Daddy last January, Wiz Khalifa explained that he's chill with going to the parent-teacher conference stoned. And smoking weed is an all-day, everyday activity for the rapper. The host asked Wiz specifically if he is stoned during parent-teacher conferences. Wiz told Call Her Daddy host Alex Cooper, "Hell yeah, I'm pulling up stoned. They expect it. They know what's up. Not like back in the day when you're considered a bad parent if you smell like weed." Wiz also explained that he'd rather have his son see his true self and that he's not pretending to be anyone else. He said, "I'm not going to get a fake version of me or this made-up parent that society makes you think you're supposed to be. I am who I am, and it's not because I'm a celebrity or anything. But hiding who he really is just to adhere to what others expect a parent is supposed to be like," he said, "that's not how I'm going to be living my life ever." Oh, dope dads out there, are you smoking in front of the kids? I'm Todd Denkin with High at 9 News, and me personally, I didn't smoke in front of my kids for a really long time when I was just a kid. I mean, when they were kids. And they kind of knew, my son knew because he used to steal my weed when he was a teenager, but my daughter never really knew until actually she was in college, is what she told me. Yeah, I just didn't do it in front of them, and it didn't stop my son from smoking weed, that's for sure.
But did you always smoke cigars too, Todd?
I have always smoked cigars as well.
Okay.
What's your favorite brand of cigar, Todd?
You know, obviously a Patron is a beautiful cigar, but I smoke more of Enfuego cigars than anything. That's a local shop here in Vegas.
Mine is the Lewinsky. The Monica Lewinsky.
The Monica Lewinsky, I bet. I bet it is. I bet it is.
Shout out to Enfuego cigars.
So, have you guys seen this video?
Hold on. Well, I think Demetrius is trying to pull it up to play it.
Yeah, I hope we can show this to everybody at home. The joint does not even look lit at all. There is zero smoke in the studio at all. And I like to say, just I put this in comments already. Like how many of these keyboard warriors out here trying to come at Snoop? How many of them are sipping wine all day in front of their babies, or getting their kids to grab a beer out the fridge for them, right? Like, fuck out of here, man. Like,
here's.
Well, I think we need to divide this into two separate sections. The first section is what kind of behavior do we exhibit in front of minors?
I don't mind smoking. I don't mind smoking in front of my
right.
When I'm outside. I don't.
Yeah. Right. So you're stealing my line. You're stealing my thunder. You're stealing my thunder. Right. So
I personally would have issue if there was smoke in the studio.
Right, so that's
not how I'm.
Man, you're taking my points. Now I'm not the second dopest dad. I'm gonna be a third dopest.
I didn't mean
your kid's gonna give you a demerit, Yarrow.
Well, I mean, what I was trying to say is what Rico just took from me. I'm gonna take my time back. So there are two different parts of this.
Playing your time, brother.
This is the first is what kind of behavior do we demonstrate in front of children and minors, and the second is, where are the health and safety issues? So in terms of demonstrating in front of minors, if we are going to truly destigmatize cannabis, and if people consume alcohol or other intoxicants in front of children, then consuming cannabis in front of children is destigmatizing it. It's making it uncool. If your parents do it, it's no longer salacious and something you do in junior high with your friends because it's bad or wrong. So this notion of consuming in front of children is a part of the destigmatization process because it's normalizing what people have already done. So there's that bucket. The second bucket is around smoke, okay? I don't think that any smoke, whether it's sage, whether it's cannabis, whether it's charcoal briquettes, I don't think any smoke is good for small baby lungs because these little babies, these little kids, they breathe like 100 times more than adults do. They are literally like canaries in the coal mine, right? So we just have to separate that because Snoop's cannabis consumption in front of children, I don't think he should be demonized. And to your point, Rico, if there wasn't a cloud of smoke with a little kid in it, then there is no secondhand smoke. The only secondhand smoke is the haters on Instagram who were trolling the man.
Yes, indeed.
Look, this is what I got to say about that.
Go for it,
First
Saman.
and foremost, like, if you live within a half a mile from a interstate in California, you're getting way more toxins that you're breathing in than any kind of smoke in your house from frankincense or from, Nag Champa or anything like that. So let's just be clear on that, Yarrow. Secondly, it's not just about smoking. You know, my daughter, since she was 2 years old, she's been around the cannabis plant, cultivated. I've taken my daughter around probably more weed than most people in our comments and in the industry have ever been around when she was 2. And it's a plant, and she loved flowers and plants from when she was a little girl. She was a baby. She was 1 year old. She was smelling plants. Cannabis was the same. And I'm definitely not gonna like divide the plant kingdom into like what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. This is all part of nature. This is what comes out of the ground. This is medicine. Once you start that conversation and you say, hey, this is what this is, they're going to grow up to understand it in that way. And if you're not delivering those messages consistently, and
somebody else is, and they're getting their information outside of the house, and that doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, it's the pejorative nature that as a society is starting to change, but the government still uses in a negative pejorative way. So it's like, I just try to give my daughter and my kids just the holistic kind of examination of what this is. Now, smoking wise, look, I smoke in my backyard. Like, got my office and it goes out. It's got its own little thing back. I got my door. It's closed off from the other side of the house. But like, let's be real. When I smoke in my office and I got like a fan and like a exhaust fan blowing the smoke out, even if when I smoke outside, they're still going to smell it. Mm-hmm. My neighbors smell it. I mean, it's not like they don't know what's happening.
Smell is different than secondhand smoke. Smell is not a harm. If you hotbox a kid in a station wagon, whether it's a cigar, whether it's a cigarette, whether it's blunt, like that's different.
Oh no,
smell don't tell.
No, but the point is like this. Even the smell, it brings the cognition, right? And I think that's kind of the thing is. Even if people smell weed, right, and not just they don't see smoke, like what Wiz Khalifa was saying about going to his kids' parent-teacher conferences. You smell like weed, automatically someone's judging you, right? And so for me, I smell like weed all the time. I don't think there's a moment in the last 15 years that I haven't smelled like weed. And I don't notice anymore, but when I go places and I see people turn up their nose when I'm with my daughter, it's kind of interesting. But of course, look, no one's gutsy enough to say something to somebody about like them smelling like weed when they have a kid with them. Hopefully not. Hopefully people mind their own business. But look, it's not like it shouldn't be demonized. You should be able to be free, like Rico, like you said, how many people out there are 5 o'clock cocktail hour getting sloshed in front of their kids, making dinner drunk as hell, being crazy.
Can't impede commerce.
Hold on, you guys. There's a big point. There's a big point that none of you guys have brought up as parents, and I find it very interesting that none of you guys have brought this point up as far as because you guys are all parents, and I'm not a parent except for all the grown kids. So here's the deal. I find it extremely ironic that this video is going to be out. Okay. And nothing is going to happen to Snoop at all as far as any type of child services investigation child services investigation or anything, child welfare. Because if this was anybody that didn't have money or wasn't in the public scene and they got word of this, they would have CPS knocking down their door and have their kids taken away.
Yep.
Yeah, Saman, I think they might be at your door right now.
Man, I got a sign on my door. It says, beware of pot smoking dad.
Mm-hmm. I'm good. You know why, Jason?
What's that?
You know why, Jason? Meta is quick to ban or shadow ban or take away the account of anybody with less than 85.6 million followers. Mm-hmm. He's generating them money. When you generate money, you can do what the hell you want. That's the American way.
I mean, Snoop is definitely doing a good job of staying in the public eye, right? And the outdoor smoker thing, and saying he was giving up smoking, like there was great press around that, even if it was, theoretically a bait and switch. We were.
I don't think it was that good. The CEO got fired afterwards because of that.
Okay, but Snoop didn't get fired.
Well, Snoop was never hired.
Got another gig. He got another gig.
And so he's doing a good job, and a little bit of controversy courts more eyes, more clicks, more views. And the bottom line is, if it wasn't lit, then you must have quit, right?
Oh shit, Yarrow. Yes.
See him hit, so you must have quit.
Yeah, you did not see him. I like that. Yeah, if you did not see him hit, you must have quit. Yes.
I pulled a little Johnny Cochran.
I like that. I like that. I'm a Johnny Cochran fan.
Yes. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yes, man,
Keep moving, Jason.
Yeah, we're gonna keep this train rolling. We're gonna roll right into our last commercial, and we're gonna be right back. The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated. Whoa.
Yes.
Absolutely, Saman.
Whoa, guys, slow down. You guys are getting real excited. I think he figured out this video. Did you figure out this video, Demetrius? Demetrius
played the video.
Yeah, we're about to play. We're going to play the video, and then we're going to roll into Saman.
Really is just to adhere to what others expect.
He's just having fun with the buck.
I just think two kids.
You see him spinning around the chair. Do you see any smoke trail coming from that joint?
So the video is playing, but there's no audio from the video.
Yeah, but there's no smoke. I don't see any smoke.
That's what we're looking for.
Fire either.
We're evaluating, and we're looking for the smoke.
I see two cute kids.
You know where there's smoke, there's fire.
I think they're just trying to tear the man down for nothing like usual. I say, get out of here, you critics.
This is tearing apart.
I think the person who leaked that video is Kathy Hochul.
Oh man, that's a big distraction right there, Yarrow. That's a big distraction. But we're gonna roll right on into Mr. Saman Razani. He's a dope dad as well, and he is a formulations expert. And such a dope dad, he shows women over 50 how to say hello again. That's right. It is none other than Mr. Saman Razani.
And the crowd goes.
Happy Tuesday out there.
Excuse Demetrius, he's still learning the buttons. Sorry, Saman.
It's all good. Demetrius, shout out Demetrius. Thanks for holding it down. Respect. We got an interesting story here today. A cannabis distributor scoops up another acquisition that was previously acquired by another distributor. Yahoo Finance. Nabis advances national expansion efforts with Blackbird acquisition, entering Nevada's wholesale cannabis market. Nabis, Nevada operators gain access to Nabis expanding ecosystem and streamlined cannabis e-commerce platform, facilitating opportunities for brands in a new key region. Las Vegas, from Business Wire. Nabis, the nation's leading licensed cannabis wholesale platform, today announces its acquisition of Blackbird, the premier Nevada-based distribution solution. This transition will bring Nabis robust technology, infrastructure, and exclusive brands to Blackbird's unparalleled networks of Nevada operators and retailers, further strengthening this and streamlining efficiencies for operating partners throughout the state's greater supply chain. Blackbird has done an incredible job of supporting Nevada's strategically important cannabis market for brand building since the state's legalization in 2016. And we're honored to continue marching towards our shared vision alongside their team, said Vince Ning, co-CEO and co-founder of Nabis. As we focus on serving customers nationwide through our platform, we're looking forward to expanding Blackbird's resources for customers in Nevada and continuing to foster the strong company culture the team has built. Combining Nabis's leading marketplace and multi-channel fulfillment network with Blackbird's established expertise in Nevada, this acquisition brings forth a new unified customer experience for cannabis wholesaling in the region. Nabis is now positioned as a centralized software platform for brands and retailers to efficiently conduct commerce, pioneering a one-stop shop model to address the fragmented wholesaling option that currently exists in the U.S. cannabis industry.
Take your time.
This strategic partnership brings a powerful synergy to Nevada. It's a bold step toward a brighter future for cannabis partners statewide, said Drea Ballard, Director of Operations at Blackbird. Nabis shares our commitment to bringing excellence and efficiency to the cannabis supply chain, and we will be working closely with them to evaluate our combined strengths. Blackbird's operations and infrastructure currently services approximately 25% of Nevada's cannabis market and is a trusted partner for a multitude of reputable brands, operators, and MSOs. Through Nabis's acquisition, brands will now benefit from a greater investment of resources from the industry's leading platform. Nabis will bolster existing operations with a dynamic suite of tech tools, including comprehensive sales insights and unparalleled payment solutions. As the top licensed cannabis wholesaling platform, Nabis's acquisition of Blackbird not only strengthens the multi-state supply chain, but also offers operating partners a clear path toward regional expansion into Nevada's burgeoning market. The opportunity is a pioneering roadmap to capitalize on the connection between two of the country's most vital cannabis markets, California, the largest legal market in the U.S., and Nevada, which is ranked third in the most visited state for the most visited state in the country, with nearly 40 million people visiting the state on an annual basis. Blackbird is already an incredibly well-respected player in Nevada's market, said Ning. And as Nabis sets its sight on national and potentially international horizons, we're excited about the combined strength of this acquisition leading the industry toward a new era of cannabis commerce. That's it. The rest of the story says a little bit more about Nabis, but that's some interesting news. Todd, that's your town, baby. What's up? What's going down? How do you?
I used to work for Blackbird, man.
Yeah, they are literally my next door neighbor.
Oh, wow.
At my lab, yeah. We used to rent. We had a big space, and we rented their building to them, and then finally the landlord made a deal with them. But we stopped subletting. But yes, so I know them very well. Great guys, great company. They do a lot of great work. We do a lot of work with them. When we sample up in Reno, we have to use Blackbird to transport samples down to Las Vegas. So yeah, I look, I say congratulations, they got out, right, and they made a profit.
Well, this is so when we went public, when I was at Baker back in 2016 to 2018, we went public as a four-way Frankenstein reverse merger to create Tilt Holdings. And Blackbird was acquired, and they wanted me to build up Blackbird in California, like I built up a Baker. And their whole game plan was like, we're gonna take out Nabis. We got better technology, we got better game plan, blah 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 blah. I was like, y'all are Reno, man. Like, y'all ain't gonna come out here and just
yeah.
Wasn't Blackbird part of another acquisition a while ago for another distribution company?
I mean,
yeah, they've been spun off a couple of times, man. But this is inevitable. Nabis is the last a man standing here. When Herbal went out last year, like Nabis is pretty much the only big name left. Wouldn't you say that, Jason? So another like.
Now, Nabis is the biggest, and they have basically the credit line that a lot of other brands go by as far as
interesting. Yeah,
as far as for retails, you know what I mean? Like a lot of retails that don't pay, they'll be on COD only status. Some of them, I mean, and I know that with Nabis contracts with some brands that there's some stores that Nabis will deliver to if the brand asks them to. However, the brand has to sign a paper releasing Nabis from any collection of any fees or anything, because that store doesn't pay, and then the brand has to go and collect themselves on that. So so there is some interesting things that they do, but congratulations to all of them over there. with Nabis, but we are fortunate enough to have.
And the founder, I think he's like now like the interim CEO again for Tilt Holdings.
Hold on, because we are fortunate enough to have Demetrius Daniels over here working the production side with us, and Demetrius Daniels was actually. I forgot. Hold on, Demetrius Daniels was actually the very first cannabis legacy industry hire that Nabis ever hired. And I want to know what Demetrius thinks about this.
Give that man a round of applause.
Yes.
Demetrius, you get paid off this? What they break you off, baby?
What'd you get paid, Demetrius? What
strips of bacon.
Demetrius,
he said he got 2 strips of bacon, you guys.
Yeah, he brokered the deal while he was producing the show.
He did. He hold on. He was there at the conversation though when Blackbird did meet Nabis for the first time. He was at their first date. He was in attendance. He was in attendance.
It was like the news fight with Anchorman.
Did this happen at an MJ Biz conference? Like, was it in Vegas when they were on their first date?
It may not have been MJ.
Como están, beaches?
Brick, you killed a man.
Shout out to Vince and June. Vince and June.
Oh, well, Demetrius says, shout out to Vince and June. He says, big shout out to you guys. So congratulations, you guys. And
I knew Tim Condors, a friend of mine, who brought Blackbird to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Blackbird singing in the dead of
night. I have one last story for you guys. I think you guys are gonna find this super amazing. I know we're way over time, and I'm gonna try to skim over it, but just so you know, it's a long story, and you definitely should check this whole thing out over at our website at www.highat9news.com. But they're saying Missouri legalized weed last year, yet Kansas saw little increase in drug arrests, you guys. And here's how more than 1 million Kansases live within an hour's drive of Missouri and its dispensaries selling legal cannabis at seemingly every strip mall. Yet even with that easy access to legal weed, fewer people face arrest in Kansas on marijuana charges. Prosecutors and police remain obliged to enforce the state's prohibition on cannabis, and Kansas is only one of only 11 states that outlaw marijuana even for medical purposes, but generally make it less of a priority. And then it kind of goes into some of the statistics. It says the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department arrested 186 people for weed in 2022. That number jumped to 241 in 2023, and that spike is mostly due to a uptick in July arrests. The amount of weed seized dropped from 108 pounds to 22 pounds. And Overland Park Police went from 189 arrests for selling and using in 2022 down to 166 arrests in 2023. And the Pittsburgh Police Department had 35 arrests. I didn't even know Kansas had a Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pittsburgh, Kansas. Had 35 arrests and for 2022, but only 18 in 2023. And seizures jumped from 2,541 grams to 6,686 grams, again, due to 1 month of large seizures. And Leavenworth police cited 23 people for weed in 2022 and 28 people in 2023. And the Kansas Highway Patrol has said it has 76 significant marijuana seizures in 2022 and 68 significant seizures in 2023. That would mean a seizure with more than 1 pound of weed, and likely doesn't include arrests for simple possession, but getting data on every arrest is hard, the agency said. Well, you guys, there's much more to this story, but we're way past time. Do you guys have any thoughts about this? Kansas, it sounds like they're disappointed that they're not getting more weed busts from all this legalization in Missouri. What do you think?
I mean, it could be worse. They could get a $2,000 return on a $44 million
or a $20,000 return on a $25 million fine.
Yep,
right?
Very true. Very true, you guys. Oh, man.
No, Kansas needs to just go ahead and legalize now, you know?
Yeah,
right?
they're definitely mad. I mean, they were definitely getting a lot of money for a long time. I mean, for the longest time when Colorado was kind of popping in the early days, I mean, Kansas was they were just waiting on the border. Mm-hmm. They're pulling over everybody coming out of Colorado. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I know that definitely hurts them and those seizures because they keep all that money.
Yep.
And, you know, Missouri, I mean, no one's leaving Missouri now, that's for sure, to go through Kansas, to go anywhere there, and that's what's going to happen. So Kansas, you better get with the program. You want to survive out there, because all that wheat you growing, I don't know if it's doing you guys the justice that this beautiful plant would do.
Well, one thing I wonder, because it wouldn't make sense for people from Missouri to go and buy weed and then drive into Kansas. That wouldn't make any sense at all. But as far, I wonder if the reason part of the law enforcement is if you're a Kansas resident, they're just kind of letting you go by, and they're not marking that because they don't want to lose the tax revenue that you're already paying. Because if you can already go and buy weed at these legal facilities, then you're obviously getting paid some type of money.
Yeah, but Jason, people do that every day. People that live in Kansas go into Missouri for work every day. Casey Mo. I mean, that's how it works, right?
I understand that. You're missing my point.
Okay.
You're missing my point. My point is, I wonder if like Kansas State troopers and different law enforcement are being more lenient to people if they do pull them over with weed from Missouri, and therefore because they don't want them to lose their jobs and therefore become a burden on their tax revenues from other industries.
Yeah. Well,
because all these busts, it sounds like a majority of these busts that they're talking about sounds like they're getting people with California plates driving through Kansas. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well,
I mean, we
got to get their weed somewhere, right?
Yep. Sorry, officer, the tornado dropped me here.
Yeah,
I didn't plan on driving through the state.
Exactly.
You got one more comment, baby? Come on, baby. You got one? No?
Who are you talking to? Who are you doing?
I thought Saman was saying something.
Oh,
no, we good.
I didn't realize you called Saman baby.
Over there floating in the clouds.
I said, baby.
I bet.
Baby.
I bet.
Come on, baby.
Must be one of those dope dab kind of things.
Hey, baby.
Jason, you just never know. You'll never know the camaraderie of being a dope dad.
I bet.
Just wait, Jason. Just wait.
I'm a father. I'm a father to many, but just no child support duties.
One day a child is going to come out of the woodworks, and you're going to end up on Maury Povich.
How do you know they haven't already, but they've just been silenced?
Thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen. Our live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. To our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, all the sponsors keeping our lights on and our AV struggles to a minimum. What up, Demetrius? What up, Adam? What up, Adam's hair? Are you feathered today? As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason the High 9 News team reads these headlines every single day. Thank you, too. It has been Tuesday, February 27th. 2024. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, the cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. And we're going to smack this one back to Saman Razani. What you got for us, man? You going to take us out?
I'm gonna say,
Fajas in the room today.
I'm gonna say, I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Remember to stay positive out there. 2024 is a zero, no buster zone, zero tolerance for busters in 2024. Stay true, stay green. Have a great day.